Lesson 2 in our Motion series for Apple Motion is about building a composite. So we are creating motion graphics that involve both compositing and animating. And you need to first understand and have a good grasp on making a composite or building a composite. So we're going to build in this lesson an opening title sequence, and we're going to work with layers to organize your composition and edit in the timeline from an image sequence. So we'll learn how to blend modes and opacity and filters and textures. So the first thing we're going to need to do is set up our project, and we're going to start with a blank motion project, and we're going to still use our Broadcast HD 720 because that's where our source material, that's what format it's in. 60 frames, 59.94 frames per second, and we're going to change our duration to 20 seconds. So make sure that we're in 20 seconds, and then go ahead and open. Now, just like we've done before, we still have our inspector window, our layers, our project window, our canvas, and our timeline. We're going to use the timeline a lot more in this video, and sometimes I'll have you basically close the project pane so you can actually see more of the screen itself. But for now, I'm just going to open that back up, and we're going to go ahead and fit our canvas into a viewable setting. Just like in lesson 1, we go up here, and this is our zoom window, our zoom layers. We also have our channels and render and view and our overlay layouts options up here. Normally we haven't used these so far, but this time we're going to change one of our options to where it's not black. We want to make sure that it's transparent and we see the transparent. And so right here in this little colored one that has a white circle in it, we're going to open that up and we're going to go to transparent, and that's going to turn it to our gray and black checkerboard transparent one. Now we don't want any transparency in this project, but it's a good idea to fill your background with a solid color, so we can do this in the project properties window. We can go to edit, and then we can go to project properties, or we can hit Command J, and that will open up our project's properties. The project properties is listed in the layers list, selected in the layers list, and the property plane is displayed in the inspector, which is where this is. And you can see your resolution, pixel frame, frame rate, all that stuff. And from our background pop-up menu, we're going to select solid. So right here, oops, right there, we're going to go to solid. And the description you can read underneath: the background color is visible in the canvas and creates a solid alpha channel. And you'll notice that the canvas turns black, and even though the channels menu still says that it's on transparent, which is this up here. So we're going to go ahead and save our project, Command S, and we'll just call this lesson 2. So this video we will split up, or this lesson we will split up into smaller sections as we go along. The first part we're going to do is create a background using the inspector. So we're going to composite layers for this, and we want to use blend modes to make them interact. to see the interactions between shapes and colors, it can be helpful to start from the bottom and go to the top and build up from there. So our first step should be to create a background. And we're going to use a single graphic and place it in our group to keep the project organized, and then we're going to apply a filter that will modify that graphic. So in your layers list, let's rename the default group, which is right here. We're going to name it to background, and then we're going to find in our media Rockumentary folder radiant gradient.png. So let's go ahead and name this the background. And then we're going to go to our file browser, and we're going to go back to our series of folders. And in class, these are saved in a different area. So we're going to find those together in class. You're going to go to the motion files and then media. This time we're going to go to the Rockumentary file. And this bottom one, the radial gradient PNG. And in your preview area up here, you'll see that this is a white blurred circle and has no background. And it says that it's millions of colors. With the plus, this indicates that it has an alpha channel or a transparency information. In other words, the graphic is over a transparent background. Near the top of the file browser, right here, we're going to click Import to import this into our canvas. And then you see that it's in the background folder. And the blurred circle appears in the canvas over the black background. And by setting the background to a solid, we ensure that no areas will be transparent in the final project. So we have our bounding circles here. And so it automatically fits when we hit import. It automatically makes this fit into our canvas. Now we want to scale this and resize it a little bit. This can be helpful, but we're going to make this a little bit more different. Now, if we were using our HUD and on this layer, really can't do much with it, turn your opacity or your blend mode or a drop shadow. What we really want to work on are the properties. We want to scale it, and we're going to make it a little bit larger. So we're going to slide this, and it only goes to 400. Well, that's a little much. We don't need it that much. Even if the slider doesn't go as far as you need it to, you can type in a larger number and it would do that. Again, we're too big as it is, so even as we come down, we're going to scale this. And if we hit this little button, reset parameter, it will take it back to its 100%. This is still not quite enough for our vignette, so we're going to increase it to about 140, right there. And so we have a nice blending around the edges that will help us get this, and it fills most of the screen, just leaving slightly the dark edges on the corners and slightly on the sides. In lesson 1 we looked at filters. There's another way to get to the filters, and that's this button right here. So instead of trying to go through the library and find our filters and look through there, we could also just click here if we kind of know what we're looking for. In this case, we're going to go to the color correction, and then we're going to colorize our picture. And you'll see that it automatically fills in with this color. So anything that's white, we're going to make this slightly cream flesh looking color. Anything that would be black in this would colorize to this darker brown black color. We're going to change the color a little bit. Let's go to the inspector so we can see a little bit more information about this. And we're going to bring this down a little bit more so we can see the reds, the blues, the greens, and the intensity. For this, we're going to change this to a more orangish color. So for the red, let's go to 0.63. For our green, we're going to go to 0.35, and all you have to do is type in your numbers. You don't have to hit delete. It'll automatically change those colors up. And then for our blue, we don't want a lot of blue, so we're going to go to 0.06. And so that gives us a nice orange, dark orange color. And so now our background is complete, and we're going to next add title elements that will appear on the top of our background. So that will be our next video.